Hello, welcome to Houghton Mackay. On Sunday, our discussion usually has somebody from the world of media, film industries, and also publishing and arts. And today we have Nik Sheva, who is a neoclassical composer with a growing and very, very impressive repertoire of musical ability. I'd like to welcome him to the show, and we have him here to show some videos and talk about his life and journey in the world of music. So welcome to the show, Nik. And we have lots of things to discuss today, questions to do
It-
with your musical journey and so on. So shall we dive straight into it and ask those questions? Your musical signature, very interesting indeed. And it's something that makes me personally, I don't with all music, listen to the very end. So how would you portray your actual signature? How has it developed over time?
it's a very interesting question. I guess the signature is something that defines us artists to create a unique voice in us, right? And um, I believe that the history of the evolution of one person, of a musician, defines a lot of what the signature really is. My signature is that I've been trained as a classical pianist in Italy, and I guess it's a constant attempt to run away from it into discovering some new worlds of music and trying to blend sense of modernity and sense of simplicity for the common user or the common person in the world. So it's a difficult question to reply because everybody takes it so subjectively.
Yeah,
So just from a technical perspective, I think it's mostly about my trying to break the rules of the classical compositions in a way that I find interesting.
it's it's almost like you're chasing the dream in one way. And I was thinking earlier about the world of expressions, and whether it's through music or the arts or whatever, we always want to never reach the goal of being satisfied with it. It's something that we are in once we're doing the art or the writing, whatever the subject, we are in that, and we never want to become stagnant. It's almost like being on a stream through an orchard. There has to be movement, there has to be continuation, and you get the ideas as you're moving. The second you become stagnant and stop, that's when it becomes painful almost. Would you agree?
Yeah, it's I wouldn't talk about stagnation as a negative thing. It
Okay.
we always define it as a negative thing. And to be fair, if we are talking about stagnation, the type of stagnation that doesn't allow you to find inspiration for half a year,
Mm, mm,
I think
mm.
it's the same as with procrastination. It's a normal body mechanism to find that something is not right, that we're not doing what we want. Same with stagnation. And most of the time, the biggest inspirations that I have or the best results I get is it if I come back to it after a very long break.
Yes.
Um, and in that long break, it might feel like absolutely nothing is happening. I am out of ideas. I'm not going anywhere. Life is bad. But then a moment comes, and it's almost that if you keep looking for the right moment to engage again the engines, you almost feel like all the puzzle comes back into its place
Yeah.
immediately, and then you're back on it. So
Yeah.
the stagnation sometimes for me, I almost embrace it in a way.
It's it's ideas, isn't it? They come when we least expect as well.
Absolutely. Yes.
And
Yes. The lead.
there's lots of them. They're in different shapes and sizes. And there's a feeling when there's the right one. You go, yes, that one feels
Yeah.
correct. It's like a gem almost being discovered in the earth. Very
I
nice,
mean,
isn't
that
it?
is the feeling. I think, the feeling that you're talking about, I think it's the fundamental reason why musicians do it. I mean, it's that feeling that when you compose, sometimes you have no doubt that that is the right way of doing it. And the feeling that when you finish a piece or a piece of art or work or a song, it really becomes such a big part of you, and it makes me so proud to be able to finish a musical composition. And I just love the idea of leaving something behind. It's going to be timeless. It doesn't depend on me. It's just there for people, for the rest of the humanity to potentially listen. I hope they will, but even if they won't, it's just, I know that I left a mark in here, and that's something that's, for me personally, that's what matters the most.
And that's a key point, because the piece that you produce, the pieces, they develop after their production via, in part, the interpretation of the public and how they see it, and also how that piece fits into society and the changing waves of society, and how that's forming in its relationship with it as well. It's an interesting point. Where does your imagination take you when you are playing piano? Are you literally in the room, or do you go into a subconscious state and unaware of what's going on around you, and so on and so on?
Really unaware.
Really unaware. Okay.
Extremely unaware, to the point that sometimes when the wind blows a little bit and the room closes, I freak out so much because I think that somebody just entered the room. But
Ah,
even though I'm completely aware that I'm alone in the house.
okay. Okay. And that's the same when
Yeah.
you're playing on stage as well,
Especially when I play
especially.
upstage. Especially, it's amazing to, a lot of songs bring me back always to the same place. So sometimes I struggle kind of to identify exactly where I am with the song, but it's a parallel universe. It's not defined with images or with thoughts. I guess it's a mix of feelings that I attached to the song while I was composing it. So playing it doesn't really bring me back in time, but it brings me back with memories. And that's, I guess, why when I perform a piece, I can really give the maximum out of that piece, emotionally speaking, because I remember how I wrote it, how long it took. I remember what were the struggles behind it, and all of that feeling, sometimes frustration, sometimes positivity, sometimes despair. They come out because I get my head back to it. So whenever I start playing a piece, it's almost as, for me, time freezes. Like there is no sensation of time, which is one of the most probably spectacular uh, things on the psyche that the music does to me. And every time I finish a piece, I I just hold my hands above the piano, I can feel literally the transition of my mind going away from where I was in this parallel world and slowly coming back into where I am right now. So it's almost every time I finish a song, it's like I realize, oh, I'm playing a concert right now. It's like I'm surrounded by people, and it's an amazing feeling.
No, that sounds really nice. Dreamy almost. And when you're in the moment, you drop all anxiety, all stress, don't you? Because they don't exist here right now. They can't, because they're
Correct.
about they're
Yeah,
about the past and the future. And that's probably when you do your best work. Um, and
for sure.
there's so many examples of musicians and people doing any kind of expression where they are not present. It's a catch-22, because they want their work sometimes to be about something that happened in the past, but they want to just get the feelings and not recall it, maybe. Like if they've had a breakup, they want to put that into the work, or a financial issue, whatever it is, and stay present at the same time without going too far into the past. There's the way up. Is that right? Is my
Yeah, it's
interpretation right?
difficult. It's difficult. Yeah, some songs, you sometimes you attach them a meaning that's necessary. But subjectively speaking, one of my songs, Turbulencia, is dedicated to all of the victims of wars, especially the Ukrainian war.
Yeah.
And honestly speaking, I told um, a fan of my, like from a concert, somebody told me, "Oh my God, I love that song so much," and I told them, I can't wait until a time comes that I don't have to play it anymore, because you bring yourself back to that, right? Every song. Sometimes when the song gets born from a negativity or a difficult period that is still ongoing. It's been 3 years. At the end of the month, it's going to be the 3 year mark of when it all started. So it's almost as if the song becomes heavier and heavier and heavier with time. And when I play it now, it's more difficult than ever to play it. But musically speaking, it's the opposite side of the spectrum. So the more feelings I have towards it, the more the more expression comes out of it. So at the same time, as much as the harder it gets for the artist to play it, the more effective, I guess, the result becomes.
It's a good point, and something that will develop over time. I guess, in a way, if we rehearse our feelings, they get stronger, and so on and so on. So you channeling them through the piano is phenomenal as well. It's a really good thing.
Yeah, the most important thing is that one of the new philosophies that I try to follow nowadays, it's been this year that I've been doing, is that as hard as it is to believe, I think there is always some positive in any negative. I mean, in the context of war, it's very different to express something like that. But again, you see, so I noticed that from the negativity of the hardness of playing a piece as a musician, there is a positive side of it, which is musically it enriches it, which I wish it wouldn't, but I try to see that there is always a positive in anything, this in any situation. I think that that's what is slowly changing the way I'm writing, towards always trying to find a little piece of comfortability as soon as I try to go deep down into the negativity in a way. So I always try to swing it a little bit. That's a bit I wanted to add.
Very difficult balance. Very difficult. And what is an achievement that you haven't yet obtained that you strive for the most within the musical arena?
Yeah. The achievements change all the time depending on the perspective, depending on where you are, and I think that currently my dream is to play a European tour. I've been seeing more and more piano artists getting it with the support of touring agencies and so on. So I already had the pleasure to play 4 European concerts last year, and I love it. Playing to new audiences, and I think playing in different cities, especially maybe cities that are not as rich as London is, in terms of the artistic juice that there is here. It's not like every day there's like 20 concerts. You have so much choice.
Easily.
And by having so much, you surround yourself with so much saturation of music here, and it's very difficult to find a little stream of attention from people. But when you go somewhere else, for example, when I played in Palermo or in Poland, I felt absorbed. Like I felt that the piano was getting absorbed, and creating the connection for me and the public was just so much easier and automatically more enjoyable for myself. So that's why I'm looking forward to play more in Europe.
London is like trying to watch a really good movie in a TV shop. There's just
very true. Yeah.
There's just so much going on that we can't always focus.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you see, all the cities. And one place that I thought of when you were just saying that is taking your piano and doing a concert right in the middle of Montana, amongst the mountains there in America, and having everybody there meet you on that the plane. That would be a phenomenal achievement as well, to name that one.
Yeah, that would be.
So what drives your music? The voice that comes through. I think we've touched on that already. More importantly, therefore, what is the current voice? What's the bit that's being said right now?
I think experimentation and curiosity.
Okay.
the quick, it kind of comes out straight away from me, because um, when I write, it's almost as if I want to surprise myself a little bit. And there's so many chord progressions, for example, when I compose, that I could easily accept, and they're valid and they're good and they're good sounding, but I'm never satisfied unless there is a little grain of spark of magic of something different, something new.
Okay.
Particularly from my style.
Yeah.
Um, I'm a little bit strange in a way that I tend to either compose or play my pieces. I I rarely tend to play other artists. Sometimes I even rarely listen to other artists because I'm just so scared of influencing myself.
Mm.
Um, one constant that I love playing absolutely is Bach and Chopin. For me, though, them two are one is extremely rhythmical, and I just love rhythm so much because I play drums as well.
Yes.
And the other is so romantic and so expressive. But recently, in the last half a year, I've been trying to, shut my founding fathers. So Chopin has been so defining for my style that I try not to listen to him anymore. And as much as I love it, I'm just scared, because as soon as I listen to it, I go back to the piano and I start playing Chopin.
Because you want your own
even
personality, don't you, to come through?
Correct. So a lot of my experimentation comes from where is my music at and how far can I push it. So it's almost as if with every song I try to extend it a little bit towards slightly strange, because I think, like, at the same time, all of this classic market or neoclassical market has been so saturated by the common chord progressions. And to me, when I play something standard like that, it feels very repetitive and already very saturated. And that's why I satisfy myself with adding a little bit element of surprise to myself. So I think this is where my kind of my thought process of composing comes from.
And that leads us to what we said earlier, because in a world where everything is saturated, something new is fashionable. The second it arrives, almost.
Yeah, I think if we could keep pushing our own limits into the unknown or a little bit of surprise, I think this is where we start defining more and more the musical signature that we were talking about.
Yeah.
And I've currently released an EP and an album, so I think a worth of about 1 hour of material, and I've been writing the new album now, and I'm about 22 minutes in the new album. And so there's not been that much time for me, obviously, to experiment with time-wise. I remember when I played in Poland, the organizer said, I really, really wonder what's going to happen with your music in 5 years. And I replied, I really, really wonder too. It really surprises me.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what's going to happen in 5 years if I keep going like this, because at the moment I feel like I kind of found a little bit my balance of experimentation and romanticism. That's why I'm almost slowly kind of going into this neo-impressionism, which is something that I haven't really heard around that much, which kind of excites me, because it might be that I might be the conqueror of that category.
Yeah. I did think that as you were saying it. It's certainly looking likely as it stands. So shall we have a look at a few of your videos and concepts?
Absolutely.
And you can show us your album if you have it as well after the video. So let's have a look at 3 of Nik's videos now. The titles are, I will just go over to them really quickly. It's a video at Palermo in Italy, I believe. And then one of your songs called Patience, followed by, I believe this is your newest release, Butterflies. Is that correct?
Yeah, all correct. I will want to mention, Karl, that the Palermo is a snippet of the Palermo live concert that was published by the Marco Giacalone Services. It's a company that does photography, video, and drone. So they did some incredible work filming that. And both Patience and Butterflies have been directed and produced video-wise from Shehab Adel, known as Visuals by Shadel,
Okay.
on Instagram. And he's a very big friend of mine that we are collaborating with content creation, and we've been working together for about a year now, very
Superb.
closely. So I have to thank him a lot.
Very good. And those that are watching, check out these producers as well, because they're very talented, as you will see in a moment. Let's have a look at those videos now. Superb. They are really, really inspirational. And I'm trying to decide which one I like the most, because they're all so different, but they contain your signature as well. Do you have your album with you?
So yes, recently I only published my transcriptions book for the Calm in a Storm album. It has a bit of my biography, some of the acknowledgements, and I've got 7 songs.
7 songs, very nice.
What they all mean to me. An example I can read that the calm in a storm came from a time when I was struggling to find peace. Music became my escape. And before I knew it, I was in the middle of that storm, but it felt different, quiet and still, as if I could finally breathe. This piece is a reminder that even when everything around us feels chaotic, there's always a way to find calm within.
That's really nice.
And
that comes through in the music as well.
Thank you very much. So this book, I will thank Giovanni Frisone for mixing the album and for helping me transcribe initially most of the pieces. We did about maybe 13 revisions for the first songs. So he taught me a lot in terms of transcribing and how to give it sense, musically speaking, and logically speaking. And Giovanni Nebbia mastered the album. And again, Shahab designed, took the picture during the Patience video recording and helped me with the covers.
It's brilliant looking cover as well. It comes together really nice. And it looks like you've got a really talented team around you as well, producing all of these things. Go on, sorry.
No, sorry. I was just saying that I love definitely growing with people. When I see passion for something that they do, and of course, talent is a very, very big part of it, but most of it is I really love working with hardworking people, and they definitely, all of these people are. So I can feel that every time we work together, the quality keeps increasing as well. So I'm very proud of them.
Perfect. And they'll hopefully be with you on the journey when you go to the top of the mountain and see all of those thousands of fans in the concerts with you, which are probably already there. In fact, I think you're already getting a couple of thousand, aren't you, in the concerts, at least?
During the concert, it's a couple of thousand people. No, by far, no.
It certainly looks like it is. But
I think the Palermo was the biggest one. And the funniest thing about Palermo is that I don't know how, but the concert was at 6:30 a.m. And the amount of people that came down was more than any other concert that I played. And I probably played about 30 concerts so far in a couple of years. And yeah, that concert was absolutely mind-blowing for me because I just felt the whole city coming together and just felt everything about it. Yeah, it was superb.
Brilliant. A memory to be had there. So your writing style, do you do everything in one go, or are you the kind of person like me with anything who has a think, does a little bit, spends a day or two going, right, that idea didn't quite work. And then there'll be something outside in the daily life that triggers, and you go, yes, that was supposed to be in there as well.
100%. No.
100%.
It's very rare. I think only one song, one piece came out all in one go, and that was Raindrops. I think I composed it in half an hour. That was the only time it ever happened. And I think as a song, Raindrops is doesn't have, unfortunately, that level of experimentation. It was just as if it was already in my head all along. All the other pieces takes me weeks, sometimes months. I write a bit, and then I have to wait 1 or 2 days to find out, do I like that or not? Most of the time I don't, and I change it. Sometimes it just feels right straight away. So I tend to finish the main structure of the whole song, and then the little details, the synchronicity between the right and left hand, for the precision, maybe
Yes.
of triplets and
Yes.
quarters.
Yep.
Then I do that in post when I start transcribing everything. But initially, I want the structure to be finished of the song so that I can then transcribe. And it's the transcription after the main ideas are there. The transcription is what brings the piece to life, because you start adding little details, you start connecting the dots all together. So then when you start visually seeing the piece as well, it helps you realize, oh, there's this pattern visually that I haven't noticed that I've been playing. So you want to then replicate that pattern all around, maybe the song or maybe that section. So it happens in stages.
It's what's the analogy? A musician is basically an auditory chef. It's like,
I would say so, yeah.
you're making
Yeah.
that soup. It has to have the right blend, a little bit of spice. Don't rush it. Don't put it on the boil too quick. Let it simmer.
Yeah.
And it'll
Yeah.
be ready.
Another analogy that I think would work is a bit of a car assembly factory, because sometimes you parallelly work in different pieces independently.
Yeah.
And then you start stealing maybe a bit of style from that piece, that section, and a bit from that section, and that's when the two sections start combining themselves together.
Yeah.
And then eventually you just plug them into the structure of the song, and then you suddenly have, a built car of the components made
Beautiful.
independently.
And a good song obviously has many gears, slow bits, fast bits, power, idling, gliding along, and all of those analogies as well.
Absolutely, yeah, very, very true.
So, so that those who haven't seen Nik yet, please do so. The examples in the videos. It's recorded on YouTube, so we will be uploading that to Instagram, I believe, and also Facebook later on. Nik's website. The spelling of Nik's name is Nik, 2 words, Sheva. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah, Nik Sheva, and you can find him on Google, YouTube, and also on the other browsers as well. So go and check his website out. See his music. The album that you showed us earlier is also on your main website. Is that correct?
Yeah. It's on Spotify, Bandcamp, Apple Music, Amazon Music, everywhere you can find. But on the website, you can find absolutely everything, all the videos and all the music and the pictures and so on.
Superb, super. So thank you very much for your time today. Excellent deep discussion, and I enjoyed it very much. Hope the viewers did as well. And we'll see Nik again, hopefully, when he does his next concert, also on a follow-up. Maybe, if I'm allowed, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be able to go and see one of his concerts and report on it as it happens in one of those cities there. Thank you very much, Nik. It's been an absolute pleasure.
It's been a big pleasure for me too, Karl. Thank you so much for inviting me.
You're very welcome. So that was Nik, and he's a brilliant composer that's well worth following there. He's growing, he's learning, and he's gaining a massive audience. Thank you for tuning in today. It's been fun as always, and we'll be looking to interview guests in the arena of media, culture, lifestyle, and wealth over the coming weeks as well. Thank you very much. and we'll see you very soon.